and it's another day when we are going to chat immigration. So let's chat immigration. To be specific, let's chat United States immigration. So today, I want us to look at consular processing versus what? What? Tell me. Adjustment of status, right? So I have seen common errors where, or the major common error is where someone did consular processing. Again, I'm the consular queen, so I would know. All right. Someone does consular processing. Upon doing consular processing and they enter the United States, then they're being given instructions by individuals who have done adjustment of status. Why are they given this instruction? Because they have no idea of the difference between the two things. One instruction is, oh, you need to complete an application for your social security card. Um, you need to send that in. It's really not so. Once you enter, an arrangement is made for that. But let me take you to the foundation and tell you what the things are. So, firstly, consular processing. Consular processing simply means that you are outside, you're waiting outside the United States to use an embassy outside at the Department of State or the embassy in order for some processing to take place for you to come inside the United States. Remember again, you can come to the United States for different reasons: live, work, play, study. Typically, those are four main things. And we could break down work into a journalist, into a performer, an artist carrying out some function, but we're not, that's not the meat of the matter now. I'm just saying these are some reasons that individuals come into the United States. Of course, I don't want us to focus on the reason so much. What I want you to give some attention to is the fact that these things happen outside of the United States. People don't stay inside the United States to apply to um, what you call it now, to play. You'd have gotten a permit called a visa, or we also call it a stamp, in order to enter and carry out whatever that function is. All right, so again, the Department of State takes care of these things. However, let me lean heavily now on immigrant processing. So, when an individual is processing for a green card, and the card is actually green, the card is actually green, all right? When an individual is processing a green card, and that individual is outside, the beneficiary of that green card is outside the United States, and you're waiting to use the embassy for an interview, they use medical facilities outside of the United States, you name it, in order for them to get a visa to enter, then these individuals are using consular processing. All right, let me give you the stages of consular processing. Consular processing goes from USCIS to USCIS. Don't fight me. Tell them the consular queen says it starts at USCIS and it ends at USCIS. Let's walk through that. So, of course, the petitioner will go ahead and file for you. So, I'm using terms that I believe you probably use a lot and understand. All right, so the petitioner files for you. They file a particular document, the I-130. That document goes to the USCIS. When it goes to USCIS, they will peruse the document, peruse the supporting documents that was sent with it, and never ever send documents out without support. So they'll peruse, they'll look at the supporting documents, and they will say, okay, this is approved. The petitioner is able to take this particular family member in, right? Because we're looking at family base now. We're zoning in on a family based petition. So yes, we're giving approval to that. The documents then moves to the Department of State, and things start happening at the National Visa Center. That's what we popularly call the NVC. Of course, if you look at the CEAC that we call the SEAC, if you look at the SEAC, where you upload those nice documents that are needed. Now, these documents are for the beneficiary, and just maybe a piece is for the petitioner. Just maybe a piece or two is for the petitioner, but it's mainly about the applicant at that time, and the applicant is also known as the beneficiary. So after all those nice stuff have been uploaded, someone in the background of the National Visa Center goes in, look at this, and says, yes, this is documentarily qualified or documentarily complete. So once it is deemed documentarily complete, that date, on that date, it sits there until you get an email that says you have an interview now at the consulate. Same thing again as the embassy. When you get that, you get even some instructions that you should go to the medical facility, have your medical done. Um, they also send instructions to you that there are some documents that you will need to take in at the time of your interview. Don't get caught up with the documents now. I'm just telling you that. So now you go into the embassy for an interview. Guess what? The officer finds you fit and qualified. So you get that stamp in the passport. Of course, when you get that stamp, which we call a visa, you enter the United States and you go to CBP. Yes, you know those people in those fancy suits and they sit around a desk and they ask, why are you here? The nice thing about it is that they don't so much ask you at that time. I think they, from my observation and from what happened with me, they were more nice enough and they welcome me, they package the document and they take it into a space. They ask you to sit down and they do some processing. At that time, they're doing the processing. Of course, the Social Security Office now knows that you're here. USCIS now knows that you're here. If you had applied for your green card prior to coming into the country, of course, the production of that green card will now be activated because you have landed. And now that you have landed, you are a legal permanent resident. Where does that green card comes from in a month or two? It comes from USCIS. And pretty much that's the end of the consular process. So when I say to you that consular processing begins at USCIS and ends at USCIS, this is exactly what I mean. So it goes around in a circle. It's 360. This is not a 180 situation at this time. It's a 360 situation. All right? Now, we need to compare to the adjustment of status. With adjustment of status, the packages are usually like really fat, thick. It's thick because sometimes what happens, it's a combo package. And we recommend, even USCIS recommends combo packages because what they do is that if you're sending combo, you'll find that it's cheaper. We can use a work permit as an example. If you're applying for a work permit in the package, it's 260. If it's a standalone, it's 520. And this is just to give you an idea that there's actually a difference in fees that you pay to USCIS. So you send a really nice package with all those forms, supporting documentations. Everything goes in at once. That's an option. They can also send it in parts. Maybe you send the I-130, make sure everything is good. And you're doing that because there may be something in the background for that beneficiary or the petitioner that you may think may hamper the approval of that I-130 or that initial application. So you're saying, you know what? If that initial application goes down, then everything goes down the stream with it, right? So some people may opt to do one form and then send the others after. Some people may just use that really nice, thick combo package with all the supporting evidence, everything that is needed is in that package, and it goes to USCIS. The USCIS may send back a work permit. They send back for you to do biometrics, they do a work permit. But one thing I want you to note is that everything is coming back from USCIS in the adjustment of status process. Every single thing is coming back from USCIS, right? It's not coming, unlike consular processing where you're sending stuff to NVC and you really don't have a choice in sending a combo package to when you're doing consular processing. There's no such thing as combo package for consular processing, but there's a combo package as it relates to adjustment of status. After everything is over, again, you get your green card from who? USCIS. So for adjustment of status, the process begins at USCIS and it ends at USCIS. The individuals that are adjusting status, they are inside the United States. Inside. And of course, during the adjustment process, you want to stay put. Unless you have some documentation or a special arrangement that allows you to travel during that time while processing, remain put while your process is taking place. With the consular processing, on the other hand, let's say the applicant, the beneficiary, has a visa, they can visit in the meantime until the process is over. There is, that slight difference between the two. Again, both processes begins at USCIS and ends at USCIS. And it happens that way because green cards are only issued inside the United States and by USCIS only. So regardless of where you are, inside or outside, your green card comes from USCIS. If you're outside, you're using an embassy to do your interview to come in as a legal permanent resident, you are doing consular processing. If you are inside the United States and you're working on that same green card and you have to remain here, it's adjustment of status. I hope you are able to understand the differences, the major differences between the two processes. And today I want to say to you, my YouTubers, what good, and thank you for watching. My favorite